That's very good. So I'm Jennifer Beckley, CEO of CI Web Group. And CI Web Group is a preferred digital marketing agency for Franklin Private Label Group. I have Michael Hicklin in the back, our Chief Operating Officer, also my husband. And we travel 9 months a year doing stuff just like this. I think we've been in 28 states in the last 30 days. My voice is about shot, but we're here. So, Scott Smith in the back, he's head of our video production and marketing team, and Miss Kathy Marshall in the very back row over our customer service and training team. And then Jamal is also here. He's been out at the table, and he is a senior project manager for our web team. So you guys, tell me this. How many of you want to grow? I need to see. Okay? How many of you want to have a child you need to, or a relative you need to hand the business over to? Yes? Okay. How many of you want to prep for sale and sail off into the sunset at some point? Yes? Okay. And does anybody not want to grow? Okay. Did I get a maybe from the back? What do you guys consider yourselves? How many of you are the owners? Okay, perfect. What are you really? And all this boils down to it.
A worker.
Yeah.
Slave.
Slave?
A babysitter.
I understand that drastically. And all of these things add up to one thing. An entrepreneur. At some point, you sat down with a spouse or a loved one and said, you know what, I can do this better. Let's start our own business. Right? You did it why? Why did you decide to dump everything you have, all your time, all your energy, all your money, credit card debt, whatever else you've mortgaged to start this business? Why'd you do it? You want more of what? Three things. Time.
I was time broke.
Yes. What else?
Get your money.
Money. Yes. And?
Freedom.
Freedom.
That you don't have.
Do any of you feel like you have one of those three things or more?
No.
Okay. Yeah? Okay. Usually the answer is no. I'm an entrepreneur as well. I get it. I quit my stock options and corporate position and benefits, all those things you guys take for granted and pull. Okay? And I dumped everything into my business the same way you have. But at some point, the challenge is most entrepreneurs don't have a coach that's holding them accountable for their initial dreams, for their initial goals. And they haven't designed the system internally in their own business to make sure they never lose sight of that. So they just start working, responding to fires, dealing with whatever the next crazy thing is. Employees, customers, process, products, services, everything else. What if I told you, I want you to create a goal that, for all you Arizonas, any Floridas, and my Southern Cals, you guys can take a month off in the middle of summer and not worry about anything.
A month off in the summer?
Yes.
Nah.
Did you just check out?
California been vibing a little bit. That's our money time. That's our growth season.
I know. But why does it have to require you?
She didn't say your company had to take a month.
I didn't say close. I said I want you to go on vacation. If you make that a goal, will you make decisions differently? I promise you will. We don't start these businesses and put everything into them only to feel like a slave to the business. But when we lose sight of the very thing we wanted, we do stop making decisions that are going to help us create freedom and time and money. We start randomly experimenting with things, responding to fires, and not necessarily systematically incorporating the things that are necessary in our business to create time, money, and freedom. Making those hard decisions. Or even knowing what decisions to make. You guys have a challenge. You have a giant target on your back with every salesperson across the company trying to sell you something. I said company, I meant country. They're trying to sell you something. Whatever wares and tears and widgets and gadgets they sell, they make it sound so good. But it doesn't always mean it's the right time. If you go listen to some twit teach you how to tweet, doesn't mean tomorrow you should start Twitter and it's going to grow your business. In order to maximize results and create freedom, we have to do the right things in the right order at the right time. The people that can advise you on that are different than subject matter experts who know about Facebook marketing, pay-per-click marketing, SEO, websites, and everything else. That's a different human. We have over 100 employees. If we put them in a room and we let our SEO guy talk to the pay-per-click guy, start pitching the social media person, the designer starts talking, the developer starts talking, they all sound really good and really important in their position. Because that's what they know. What they don't know is what an entrepreneur needs to do to prioritize your investments and to invest in your business into things that are going to cause permanent and progressive growth, which turns into freedom, giving you more time. So, that being said, it requires a system and it requires an understanding of how these things are connected when it comes to properly positioning your business for growth. So let's get down to the nuts and bolts. First, how many of your dads, husbands, wives, mamas, homeowners, and so forth? You get my drift. When you need something, what do you do as a consumer? Research it. Where? Google. Raise your hand if your first reaction is to Google it if you need someone. Keep your hand up and look around. Everybody turn around and look. This is data. I promise you this data is better than most advertising brochures and pamphlets. Okay? When you Google it, how many of you click on the ads? Very top. Raise your hand and look around.
No.
Does it? I got one. Are you just clicking on competitors or as a consumer?
It depends.
See? We're only in our dad hats. Oh man, $40, $40, $40, $40, new IP, $40. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. All right. No one actually raised their hand. I have two. How many of you click on the maps? First page of Google where the little map comes up. Raise your hand and look around. Okay? Put your hands up and look around so we have numbers. Good. How many of you click on a website on the first page of Google? Raise your hand and look around. How many of you go to page 2? I got nothing. I got one. I got it sometimes.
I do the first and the second.
Okay, I got it sometimes. I got
You still gotta try just a little bit.
Nobody has time to go to the second.
I got too many options on the first page. I can just change the search. Okay? If you click on a website from the first page of Google and it looks scary, like a DIY project, old, what do you do?
Next.
Next. If the website looks good, you can tell who they are, what they do, where they're at. It's easy to reach them. What do you go look for next before you make a decision to move on?
Reviews.
Reviews. Raise your hand if you go check out reviews before you move on. Look around. Keep them up. Look around. Okay, I'm doing this because it's important. You guys as consumers take a certain sequence of steps, but then we put a business hat on and we take the totally opposite steps. No one in here raised their hand that they click on the ads. But as a dealer, how many of you are investing in pay-per-click? I'm not saying it doesn't work. There is a group that shops on As Seen on TV and buys the knives where the handles fall off too. They exist. Okay? But I am saying go back home and figure out, as dad, homeowner, what do I do? What do I do when I get the mail? Do I watch the television commercials? What do I do when I'm listening to the radio? What do I do online? Here's the beauty. If all of you do the same thing, which is why I love being a speaker, because I get to ask real people how you buy, what do you as a business need to be good at?
Being seen.
What do I want to sell? What city do I want to sell it? And am I an option for what, where consumers are looking, and do I look good when they get there? That's it. That is marketing. That is it. Now, we mess up, not because we're not trying to market ourselves online. We might be in the position where we have the biggest excuse in the world. I don't have enough, survey says. Time. Which if you ever say, I don't have enough time to focus on the things to be an option for what I want to sell in the city I want to sell it, that's an oxymoron. That means you really need to do it. Should I slow down? First and foremost, your website. Everybody said in here, you're going to click on a website.
I would do here, I would click on the locals.
You click on the local listings. Okay. That's number 4. We got that. Yeah, you're in that bunch. Okay. And when you go to the local listing, do you click on the website? You just click on the phone number. Let's ask.
No. I look at the review actually.
The review. So,
Eventually, I'll have a look.
okay. And we still make the same decision that if it looks like a DIY project, I'm going to move on. Okay. So we're still back at the same square. So, how long do you guys think website lasts today?
Couple years.
Couple years? Yes. Reason is consumers and technology changes so fast. In addition to hackers, get smart. People trying to fake it, get smart. Google is smarter. So Google is constantly changing the requirements so that real people using different kinds of devices can access websites. So every year, every month, Google is changing the requirements of a website to prevent bad people from putting stuff out that people will get scammed on, and to allow good people looking for the right things to find the right kind of company. Your website is the engine. Life cycle is about 18 to 20 months. That's it. If the engine is broke, are you going to go get a really nice new paint job and some new rims and some really cool tires and a new exhaust on your car? If the engine is broke. Okay, so if you're investing in all these other things and the engine is broke, you're going to get pennies on the dollar or get nothing from your investments. Right activities, wrong order. That's first. It doesn't last forever. If your web company is telling you got to replace it, you probably do. They get to like life support after a certain time. If your website is parked in a garage like GoDaddy, okay? That is like taking a beautiful car, putting it in a garage with no maintenance and no security. And it's one of your most important assets. Versus putting it in a secure garage with the maintenance team checking it out to make sure that it's working as long as it can work. All right. A website. That's first. Second is content. Well, actually, you know what? Let me stay on website for a second. Anybody know a developer? What are they like? Coders.
Weird.
Weird.
My
Yes.
brother doesn't.
Oh, your brother. So is a garage a living space?
No, man, he's just a little strange. You know, he lives in Washington, works in San Jose.
I live in Seattle. I did it. I was raised with them. My dad is one, and they are odd. They are odd. Okay, they can't spell because they write in code. Things don't look pretty. They don't dress nice. If you ask them what they're doing on Friday, they say hang out with friends. There's no cars in their driveway. None. but they got a lot of friends online.
Never
Best
did
friend's
one.
name is Toxic M54.
They speak in code too, and like, it's weird.
Yes, yes. Anybody know a designer? Graphics designer, what do they like?
Want to be hip?
They're creative, they're hip, they're cool, they dress nice, they have real friends. They went to art school, right? Garages for cars. Okay, anybody know an engineer? What do they like? Weird also, yes. Do they guess?
Never.
Do they make decisions fast?
Never.
Why? Because they're doing what? Researching. Researching what?
Everything.
Data, and if you don't have it, what? Nothing. Okay? Moms don't give birth to all these required personalities in the same bodies. So you can't hire Bob or your nephew or your brother who just got out of school for web design and call it a day. He can't do it. It's not his fault. He's going to be good at some of what's necessary. If you have a beautiful website, which is like, it's like me looking at an air conditioner. If I look at it, I see, 4 walls, some gray, a rectangle. I'm pretty much done at that point, right? I don't know what's inside. I know there's some stuff, and it's important. Some things are better than others. That's why you're here. Okay? When you look at a website, you see the same thing. You see the clothes, the outfit. You can't see what's behind the website, like the inside of an air conditioner. And it's really important. You guys look at the clothes and say, oh, I like my website. Google looks at the code and says, no, not compliant. If you guys, as consumers, do a search online, and you look on the first page of Google to figure out what company, product, or service you're going to work with, who do you as a business owner need to please first? Google and the robot to get in its good graces so you can wind up on page 1, or real people?
One goes to the other.
You got to please Google first,
Yeah.
right? And that is all math. That's a technical game. It's not how well the website's painted. All right, so content. Number 1 most important element of a marketing strategy, least budgeted for, and no, it is not part of web design. It's a different human, a writer. And they're different too. You have people who write for Google. Their writing is more mathematical. And you have people who write for people. They're different. And then you have you guys who talk all day long and won't write anything. Why? Because you're too busy to write. You'd rather repeat yourself all day, every day. Like Groundhog's Day. How many of you find yourself saying the same thing and answering the same questions 24 hours a day? How many of you have ever woke up and said, if I could just clone myself? Okay, in the back of the room, what do I have in the very back of the room back there? And what is it doing? It's cloning me, right? It's a video camera. And it's recording this whole session. And I can slice and dice this session into 50 different 5-minute segments, give them a different title, and I'll have made 50 copies of me that I can put up on YouTube and let them work for me while I do what during my busy months?
Watch TV.
Vacation. Right? You guys can clone yourself. Creation of content, it's your ability to speak. Anything you want to sell or say can be available to more than just the people you're already saying it to. It can be available to everyone who's already looking for it. But we sit in our entrepreneurial shell, we say, I don't have enough time, so I'm just going to spin my wheel and keep asking the same question. Instead of digitize it and put it out so everybody can find it. Which one's the path to freedom? We have to make copies of you guys. You guys know everything. I've heard stories that are hysterical. I've heard stories that are so smart, things I would have never considered from people just like you. You're the best salespeople for your business. Why not make a copy of everything in your head and format it so other people can find it? So you can work for you when you do something else. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, content. How many of you have seen Bruce Almighty? The movie. Okay. You remember when God's in that warehouse and he said, anything you've ever said, anything you've ever thought, anything you've ever done is in this drawer, right? And this drawer flies across the warehouse. That drawer is Google. Somebody give me a city. You guys
Roy
are,
City.
what is it?
Roy City.
Royce. Is that right?
It's Roy City.
So, when I, as a consumer, look for something like AC replacement, and let me give you some hints. Consumers will look for air conditioner replacement, air conditioner service, air conditioner maintenance, air conditioner tune-up, air conditioner replacement, air conditioner installation, AC replacement, AC inspection. Why would I look for AC inspection?
Selling your house.
Exactly, because an inspector said you need to get your air conditioner inspected before we can clear the condition to close. It's a problem. They told me what to look for, that's what I went for, okay? Google can only file each page on your website into a drawer based on the titles of the content on that page. So if I create a page on my website and I call it cooling, which so many dealers do, Google's going to put it into a file drawer with how many other pages? That's this number. And consumers don't look for cooling repair or HVAC dealer or cooling installation. That's a function. They don't look for that. Okay? If you're dealing with an advertising and branding company who doesn't know SEO, they won't know the difference. They're going to put it all over your website, call it a day. It says cooling everywhere. No business will be generated. And for those of you that are in Arizona or Southern Cal, you guys are in trouble. Okay? So, when they look here, AC replacement in Royce City, this will show you how quickly you have the ability to be an option for what you want to sell in the city you want to sell it based on the number of pages in that drawer. So for us, for our company, it takes us about 30 days per 100,000 pages in that drawer. If I'm a TSM, I want all my dealers in my territory to be on page 1 of Google for the services and systems I want to sell in the cities I want to sell them, that they're willing to service, to own and occupy that space. If I'm a dealer, I want to be an option in that city that I'm willing to drive to, that you happen to live in, for the service you happen to be looking for. If I don't have location, and that's what I try and compete with, you lose. If you try and go after products, you're not Home Depot. You are a service company. If you find yourself on a page that looks like this, and you need to be in the top 10 of 170 million pages, you lose. If you have no content for the services you want to sell in the cities you want to sell them, you never played the game. You're not playing that game. Your store is empty. It doesn't have the product/service that you want to sell inside of it. Does that make sense? If I just add repair, oh, you said Royce?
Yeah, Roy City. It's funny, when you went to go change that a minute ago, and the search bar, our name came up as a suggestion before you even.
That is awesome. So here's the deal. This is a very low competition location. Not only should you own and occupy every service that's possible in that area, but you should own and occupy more than one listing. Which means you need more pages of content in the drawer. So if my business is in Royce City, first, I want to show up on that map page. That's local listings. Second, I want to show up here. Is this your company?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I want to show up here. What's a city outside of Royce? Okay, Rockwell. I got you.
Cow mills.
So, you have a very low competition search, which is great. I would rather have 100% of the business in this area because I'm on page 1 of Google versus go after Houston, Texas, or go after Dallas, Texas, and have 100% of nothing because there's 40 million pages I got to beat. So sometimes you got to get creative and go outside of where your business might be located. So, for every page / service, if I want to get found for air conditioning installation, Ferndale, Washington, electrical furnace service, Ferndale, Washington, electrical furnace inspection, Burlington, Washington, and so forth, every page you put on your website is a potential cash machine once it is in position number 1, 2, or 3. Which is exactly where you guys said as consumers, you go search. So, if you're in a low competition area, I would want to see something like this. Where, for example, Central Heating, Ferndale, Washington, this client is on page 1, position 1, 2, and 3. The more people, there's only 10 options in those organic listings. So if I own 3 out of 10, I have much higher odds, especially if they're the first 3. Now you start bumping people out of the way. Get out of my way, I'm taking this. Okay? That can be done when you have more than one page about that particular service of content. Okay? Now, everything you want to sell can be listed as an individual page with content. It's got to meet Google's requirements. Has to be 300 to 500 words minimum, 1,500 preferred. Has to use the key phrase once every 100 words. Has to have a geolocation or a city. Okay. There's requirements. But if you want to get found in other cities, you got to have a page that's specifically geared for that city with unique content for that city and the services you want to sell. So you start opening pop-up stores in other locations so you can start selling more in other cities. Of course, you guys are in operations and logistics, essentially. You want to start close, work your way out. If you hire a new tech that's in another city and it's 20, 30 miles away, go after that city. Deploy them from home. Okay, so step 1, website branding. 2, content. Content is, I can tell you about how much you do in annual sales based on the number of pages on your website. If you type in the word site, colon, and your website address, no spaces. Site, colon, no spaces. This is going to show you what Google sees for you only. So this is showing for this particular client, they have 603 index pages in that drawer. If I go look at a website and it has 15 pages, they're probably doing less than $1 million in annual sales. If I go look at a website and it has 500 plus pages, they might be doing 5 or 10 million in annual sales. You can almost, there are exceptions, quality matters. A lot of content, high volume, low quality is not going to help. Now, every page you put on your site can help you get into a different drawer for something specific. If I go put a page on my website that says careers, that's going to look like your junk drawer in your kitchen. It's going to go with every other company in the world with a page called careers. But if I put HVAC careers Bellingham, Washington, HVAC jobs Mount Vernon, Washington, now you can start showing up when you're looking for new employees, which is often why dealers get stuck when it comes to growth, not necessarily because they can't generate more leads, but because they don't have the people to service them. This type of marketing accomplishes both. It helps you from an operational standpoint because you're always recruiting new people 24/7, 365, so you're never stuck saying, turn off all my marketing. I don't have the people to service these potential clients. The same process works for everything, regardless of what you're trying to be found for.
If you talk, would that not work on your phone? Does it have to be on a desktop?
You got to be on a desktop to look at your site,
Yeah, you
yes.
won't show how many people-
Yes, you won't see your total count. You want me to look real quick?
Sure.
So while I do this, you guys have these little sheets of paper. I don't want to miss this at the end. If you fill this out, everyone needs to fill this out. Make sure your website is readable. Pretend like mom's trying to read your handwriting so we can see them. We'll go do a full digital evaluation for you that'll show you where you're ranked, how well your website is, where the technical errors and issues are, as well as have a strategy session off-site. So I would highly recommend Knowledge is Power. Even if you are a client of ours, we do this because we're never done. There is no one in here, and there is no client of ours that is perfect. It does not exist. Not in a changing world. Okay, what was your website?
True Blue Heat and actually spelling. Air.com.
So you have 267 index pages. I'm going to go to step 1, which is the website secure? That's in your step 1 of the 12-step roadmap. You're going to see right here it says not secure.
Nice.
That's in the beginning. In the very, very, very beginning, that's the first. You got to have somebody that's, when you say, I want $9 hosting, someone needs to say no. You need a maintenance program, the proper security, because Google's not going to give you grace. It specifically has a highlighter that says your website's not secure, no go.
We have an SEO guy that pay every month for the last few years.
So, okay. So that would be one of the first things on a checklist you should see. However, if you have your teams all spread out, I'll tell you this. In our own business, Lisa can vouch for this. In our own company, getting our social media team to communicate with our SEO team, getting our design team to communicate with our social media team, getting our security team to talk to the SEO team, developers to talk to the server, that's hard in our own company. That's taken years and years of practice. If you have separate companies doing everything, they're not going to collaborate. They're not going to get on the phone and say, I just had a meeting with you. You said it's your 20th anniversary. I'm going to design some graphics we're going to use on your social media site. We're going to create a page on your website, the blog, for your 25th anniversary. We're going to backlinks to those sites on all your local listing sites. They're not going to talk.
Right. No, I think he's gotten complacent. That's a guaranteed set amount of money a year, regardless.
So is it one guy?
No, it's SEO Dogs or Dallas SEO.
Okay.
Well, he was a consultant for SEO Dogs. Now he went on to his own thing. It's Dallas SEO. But I know what he did. He's got the same guys that are in there. That's freelance work. And
5. Okay, so I'm gonna say this. You guys have to. This is a two-way street. There was a sign in my son's gym class when he was in kindergarten that said, "Show up, suit up, and participate." This doesn't work without you. I'm not saying you don't participate, but whatever agency you have, they need to be an expert at all of these items. They need to have individual resources, departments that are designers, developers, security experts, content writers, CRM and online scheduling, managers, local listings, marketers, reviews, acquisition, and marketing team, social media, search engines, bloggers, email marketing, video, paid ads, mobile apps. If they don't have all those resources in there, it's going to be hard to progress. So the system is designed that every year you're looking at, what are we doing that's working? Do more of it. If your agency says your SEO is working, You've got 8 pages on your website that are producing new business. I recommend you add more content, more SEO, and you go, no. That's not your agency's fault. Okay, they're going to keep, hopefully they continue to make recommendations to you. Also, if your agencies are asking you for a strategy session and you're too busy, you gotta show up. You gotta participate. Why? You guys have the tribal knowledge of your business. You have the language, you have the experience, you have the stories, you have the case studies, you have the before and afters, you have the projects, you have everything. You gotta get that tribal knowledge into these nerds' hands. That's what they are technically. It's a bunch of nerds. But it's your business and you don't want to taste like chicken. So if you don't participate, it's gonna be like everything else. You don't want that. You gotta show up, you gotta participate. And remember, if you invest the minutes today, you'll get them back in the future. If that agency is worth their weight, and you stick to the process of, what are we doing that's working? Do more of it. What are we doing that's not working? Stop it. Reallocate it to something that is. And what's next? Not what's next, bounce from company to company to company and keep starting over. I see a lot of companies that come to us, which I'm grateful for. But when I ask them, did you ever sit down with your current company and say, what's next? And they go, no. Did they ask you to? Yeah. Or no? Okay, well, I'll take it. Okay.
But that
We're kind of like the person.
Even if they don't ask, though, that's our fault still, because we should have asked.
Technically, they should be like a personal trainer that you kind of wish you didn't hire. Your marketing agency should almost get on your nerves.
Yeah.
If they kind of get on your nerves, you did well. So I have clients that they're irritated. They contact me too much. I've heard the reverse. So you gotta, it is, I believe success for all entrepreneurs is partially based on this, but the predecessor to it is personality. I can take 2 companies who sell the same product, same services, same everything. One of them is constantly griping and complaining and everything, and the other one is growing like crazy. Same product, same everything. Part of it is personality. So as an entrepreneur, I remember sitting down with my mom and she was like, you want to quit your job, huh? You think you're going to be free, huh? I'm born and raised in a group of entrepreneurs that are very successful. She said, it's going to suck. It's going to suck. And if you decide to do it, you better choose to let it. It means you got to smile all the way. Bad times, all-nighters, haven't slept in 3 days. My throat hurts right now, right? You got to love all of it. Well, digital marketing is similar. Google's going to change requirements. Consumers are going to adopt new things. Whatever you bought last year might not currently work today. No, your website's not perfect. It's never going to be. But what it does need to do is it needs to continue to progress. It needs to continue to grow. You need to keep adding to it. And don't get frustrated with your partners if they love you, because that's what you want to look for, is a team that you like, okay? A team that you are collaborating with. You guys are coming up with ideas together, you're testing, and so forth. But just remember, if any one of these things are done out of sequence, if I have a beautiful website, and I'm on page 1 of Google for hundreds and hundreds of terms, if your reviews are bad or non-existent, you lose. If you have a beautiful website and no content, you lose. You can't do SEO. If your local listings are all messed up, you don't want any evaluation, you have no clue who owns them, your competitors could be literally sitting back on your local listings using your company name, your address, and their phone number, happily answering your phone calls every day. because this stuff is complicated or it's draining or I don't want to know or that's too much detail. Just get it done. You gotta know some of it. I don't know how to work my air conditioning system. I gotta know how to work thermostat. Or no matter what kind of system I have, I'm gonna freeze. Right? So, when you're investing, think of it like this. There are certain things you can invest in that are temporary. Meaning when you stop paying, you have nothing. Okay? Those are not necessarily investments. Those are gambles. There are things that you can invest in that are permanent, that over time grow. If you want a vacation, if you want time, you want money, you want freedom, you have to invest in things that are permanent. Compounding interest impacts on your business. If I have a TV ad, is it permanent or temporary? Temporary. If I create a YouTube video, is it permanent or temporary? Permanent, and it grows over time. Same thing with content. So I hope this is helpful. Am I out of time? I am. Is this helpful?
Yes.
Okay, that is awesome. So if you fill these out, and we can read them. I have about 1,500 of these from the speaking events from the last week. So if you are really serious, two things can happen, right? 911 over the top, or go sit down with Kathy and she'll schedule you with the strategist to get on the calendar now. Because otherwise we're processing them in order.
If you already got your analyst, already got your email.
You got an email?
I got an email already. So who's
Book a strategy session. Mike's here, Jamal's here, Kat, I'm here. We can take a look at those and we can help you if you want to stay after for a minute. But definitely get on the calendar with one of our strategists so they can go through it with you and they can help you prioritize. Okay, part of their job is to say no. So if you say, I listen to some tweet, teach me how to tweet, I want to start Twitter, it's okay if they say not yet. Not yet. You need to take care of these things first. Okay? Yes? 10-minute break, the general session. Please do me a favor, fill these out. It's knowledge, and I hope that we can work with you and help you guys out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
You got it. We're going to look. Thank you. What's your website?
So I know I got a email from you already today.
Miss Kathy? Oh, yep. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
So right out of the gate, you got a old website, right? What's your website address?
DAZ, HVAC, DOC.
Cool name.
Hey man, you can't be touching on one around now. You wait till you
He has free reign. Okay, so it's everything. It's your site secure. That's good. So giving back, junk drawer, installation and services, total junk drawer, financing, junk drawer, about us, junk drawer, contact us, junk drawer. It's like having an empty site.
Fine.
So-
What do I need to do to fix it?
So Kathy Marshall right there will set you up with, where are you located? You're in Arizona.
With Clay?
Clay.
Yeah, I just sent him a
He's
text
cool.
message. I just sent him a text message.
He's cool. He's smart. He
So,
knows this stuff.
My representative told me to speak with Clay.
Yeah.
And I just sent him a message because she told me directly. I said, who do I need to speak with? She said, Clay.
Yeah.
And I sent him a text message also.
Okay, sweet. Do you have a card with you?
I don't.
Let me take a picture of this so I can just. He travels too. He was just in Arizona, so he travels a lot.
Okay.
I got this. That way I can not have a selfie.
We sent a few messages. I said we have evidence.
Okay, and I'm taking a picture. There you go. Come here. No, come here. I can send it to him. So he knows.
Okay. Yeah, so, but how long does it normally take, and what is the
So-
ballpark? I'm just at ballpark figure. What do you think it is?
Franklin has websites that are pre-configured.
Quick guy
Hi,
runs to the
Randy. How are
airport. Good to see you. Good to see you. See you.
Franklin has websites. They're already pre-configured websites, but it's not custom. So you customize pieces of it, but you'll have everything you need. If, as far as I'm concerned, instead of spending a ton of money on a custom website, I would go with one of those and spend the money on marketing things.
Yeah.
Things that are going to drive traffic to the site instead of, most people spend all their money on web design and development, not on getting business
Well,
to
see,
it.
here's the issue. I had HiBoo at first,
Yep, that,
and so I found I was paying for stuff I don't use with HiBoo, so I canceled it. But when I canceled it, they killed my Google page also. So right now, yeah. So well, I had to pay them. Well, what I did was I paid them back the $40 to get my Google page back. Yeah. And so now I got my Google website back, and I'm able to now have a couple of my old reviews still back.
So Google Business Listing is free.
Yeah, I know that, but when HiBoo set my account up,
They claimed ownership.
they claim ownership of it. So when I canceled with them, they killed my Google page, and I didn't know nothing about it until at the end of the summer.
And then they charge you to take back something you own for free.
Yeah, $40, charge me $40 a month to get it back. Where right now I got it back until I figure out how to get my ownership of my
Okay.
Google page
Her
back.
daughter, the woman right back there, Kathy Marshall. We have a team called Next Gen. They are it's Next Generation team. They're all our kids. They're smart as hell, but they have no tact. I'm warning you in advance because they're not like, they just blurt stuff out. Her daughter is the expert at Google Business Listings, and she's the only one in our company that has people she can call at Google to answer.
Well, I actually called. I was on the phone with Google, and Google told me there was no trace of my website because I couldn't give them the email that was linked to my Google site. And when HiBoo set it back up, some kind of way they got me back with my reviews that I had from a year ago, and got my page back up. But I don't know what happened to it. Google said they don't know even know where it was at. Google representatives said they couldn't find it anywhere. I was on the phone for an hour. So I've been through a lot of bullcrap with it. So right now I'm just paying that money until I find
and
a
that
solution.
money is not. Google Business Listing is free. You can pay money to have somebody publish content.
Yeah, they're supposed to be managing it for me, like Twitter, all my social media. That's what they get paid to do.
Okay, so those are different. So Google Business Listing is one thing. Social media marketing is going to be something else. You just need a strategy session with them. So what I would do is you guys make a list of everything you are quote unquote investing in and having somebody do and who it's with. Come to the table with that and say, this is where we are. That's where am I at? And then where do you want to go? They'll help you figure out what's what.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Cool. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Hi.
Do you only do this for Franklin dealers?
No.
Okay. What is this?
Oh.
So I typed in site and my website and look what came up. I've been hacked.
Yep. Drugs in the Philippines. Oh, shit. Once again. Stop.